This program was made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
When local growers put great food on Tennessee tables, that's living green. On the next Live Green Tennessee, we head back to scenic Bill's Bend to learn about Six Boots Grower Collective and Chopwood Carry Water Retreat Center. Next, we meet the tomato guy in McMinn County, and finally, we visit the Short Mountain Distillery for some moonshine in Cannon County. All this and more on the next Live Green Tennessee.
Pick Tennessee helps you find local farms and farmers markets, plus offers tips for choosing, using, and storing the fresh foods you buy. The Pick Tennessee mobile app is available now on iTunes and Google Play.
Radon gas is a naturally occurring radioactive gas found in rock and soil and can seep into your home through basements or cellars. It's odorless, invisible, and without taste, and can damage lung tissue and cause the beginning of lung cancer, making it the second leading cause of lung cancer in the United States. It's important to understand how you can protect yourself, and the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation can help you learn more about this dangerous gas and make your home a safer place.
Hello, I'm Melinda Kiefer, and I'm proud to bring you stories from across our great state on Live Green Tennessee. Six Boots Grower Collective and Chopwood Carry Water Retreat Center are both based in scenic Bill's Bend. Six Boots strives to continue the agriculture tradition of the community by utilizing ecologically sustainable soil and pest management practices. The other agricultural goal is to provide food security to Nashville for generations to come. Chopwood Carry Water Retreat Center is a nonprofit organization that focuses on educating and healing specific groups facing life's challenges. The targeted groups include children, youth, and adults with autism, anxiety disorders, depression, cancer, and obesity-related diseases, as well as the people who care for them. The program's purpose is to bring humans back into balance with themselves and with the world. Producers Jacob Carr and Daniel Duarte explore Six Boots Grower Collective and Chopwood Carry Water Retreat Center in Bill's Bend.
So Six Boots Growers Collective is a group of 3 independent farmers that came together 3 years ago, and each of us ran our own single-man operation before that. So we all have some similar skills, but also have different skills that we're better at or that we've delegated.
I co-manage the farm with my 2 farm partners, Will Tarleton and Kevin Sykes. Between the 3 of us, we manage pretty much all the farm duties out here, from weeding to planting to harvesting. We also do all our customer relations, email, website stuff. We also go to the markets ourselves physically, get a great chance to meet the customers, learn more about the community, let them learn more about us. And we also deliver veggies directly door to door to some customers.
It's important for me to be involved in local agriculture and being able to come outside and work with the land, improve the soil.
We grow a wide variety of vegetables. Because we have sustainability first and foremost in mind, we try to keep it diverse, and we try to keep it as seasonal as possible.
It is a full-time job, so right now focusing on produce, vegetables. We have some sheep and turkeys, and then a side project from this is local fiber production with hemp, and hopefully moving into natural dyes like indigo. But I feel like the more opportunity young farmers or people interested in farming have to connect to a source of land and are guided through the beginning hardships of starting up farming, that working on more diverse agricultural crops may offer a place for young upcoming farmers to learn about about how to do that and maybe secure a long-term job or a full-time job from that is also restoring the land and providing a service for the community.
I think it's extremely important for farms like this to exist, especially just outside of our community here in Nashville. Our main focus is sustainability. So sustainability really lies at the crossroads of economy, environment, and community. And those three things are extremely important to Nashville and the broader community of Middle Tennessee.
I would say through developing a relationship with agriculture or with the natural world, that it offers the ability to connect not only with kind of your own soul, but also the soul of many other things, that natural world. And there's the ability to reflect on yourself and your own work and in agriculture, as well as seeing the health benefits, more importantly, from eating real food. And I think through that food and through the thought and self-reflection, that there's a loop there of just maybe more self-awareness or the ability to connect with something outside of just yourself.
My name is Devin Pena. I am here at Chopwood Carrywater Farms in Nashville, Tennessee, in the Bells Bend neighborhood. My farm is basically consists of an acre. It's just me. I work alone. I do all vegetables that I sell primarily to restaurants and at farmers markets. I'm basically trying to get the word out about my vision for a retreat center that I'm trying to do called Chopwood Carrywater Retreat Center. And basically what that entails is a farm-based community for people that suffer from particular life challenges, such as autism, cancer, PTSD, and so forth. I want a place for them to come to and learn about sustainability through farming and through community. And by doing this, I think that I can help relieve some of these symptoms. I'm trying to do this in 3 phases. The first phase is the farm, in which I'm doing now, and getting the word out through farmers markets and through restaurant sales. And basically what I would like to build is a fully sustainable center that is completely off-grid. We're going to do everything from youth in the summertime for kids that suffer from autism or any kind of ailment. And then in the rest of the year, we'll have it also available to the general public as well. We're going to do a full integration. I think it's key that people that suffer with particular life challenges be integrated with the general public. I myself have a daughter that's autistic. She's also deaf and born with a genetic disorder called Charge syndrome. And I found that her being around other people has really helped her open up herself. So basically the full vision for Chopwood Carrywater would basically be people coming to get away from their systematic life of the daily grind, whether it be the caregiver caring for this person or the parents, and also that person in general. Coming to our center and relieving them from that stress of daily life in the city by utilizing animal husbandry, a garden, activities throughout the day such as swimming, meditation, massage therapy, Reiki, and so forth. And integrating that into working in our garden as well, to where they're going to learn how to cultivate, harvest, cook what they've harvested, and eventually, be able to take these things back home with them to where they're able to do this themselves later on in their life.
Now we head to Etowah, McMinn County, where one man has found a way to grow tomato plants that look more like tomato trees. John Dewey has always had a love for gardening, and he's come up with some inventions and books to help you grow bigger vegetables in small spaces.
Ever since I was small, I've been gardening. So it's something that I've done for years and years and years. I've tried to perfect it so I can grow more food in smaller spaces using less water. My name is John Dewey. I live in Edgewood, Tennessee, and my passion is gardening. The things that we have growing in these two gardens right now, we have lots of tomatoes. They end up being tomato trees. Last year, to get them out of the ground, we actually had to saw them out of the ground because the main root is so big. We grow 10.5, 12.5 footers now, and they'll still produce 150 to 200 pounds per plant on the Better Boys. Like I said, the Better Boys for me are the king of the garden. I first got interested in gardening when I was a little kid. My mother and I lived with my aunt and uncle when I was growing up on their small farm, and we mostly had animals, but my uncle and I put out a big vegetable garden every year. My uncle, he was a World War II veteran. He was at the Battle of Okinawa, and how he got this home, or why he even had it, I don't know which, but it was the bottom bubble from an airplane, the machine gun turret, and he used this clear dome turret as a greenhouse. And what he'd do was every spring we'd go out there, he'd cut 2 new pieces of cloth and 2 new pieces of tape and put them over where the machine guns would stick out. And during the day he would lift up the cloth, let the heat out, and at nighttime he'd put the cloth down to keep the frost from getting the plants. So I learned a lot about repurposing items for different uses from him. We didn't have a whole lot of money, and you had to scavenge around and find new ways to invent things, to get things to work on the farm, and I do the same thing here. When my wife and I bought our first house, there wasn't a whole lot of room to put in a big tilled garden, so I started using the raised bed gardens, and I said, wow, this is really great. And I said, well, how can I make this better? And that's when I started developing my fertilizers. I had this great big animal hypodermic needle, and I would suck my fertilizers up in this great big animal hypodermic needle, shove it into the ground so I would get it right to the roots. And then the year after I invented the fertilizer, got the perfect fertilizer, I ended up getting carpal tunnel syndrome in both hands, and my hands hurt so bad I couldn't pull the plunger back on the hypodermic. So I said, well, how am I going to get this fertilizer to the roots of my plants? And in a day and a half, I set out the design to build the first water stick. Most gardeners do surface watering. That's where they just pour the water on top of the ground. Well, that is very wasteful. On my tomato plants, where I buried the root ball 6 to 8 inches deep, I'd have to pour 3 or 4 gallons of water on top just to hopefully get maybe a quart to a half a gallon down to the root. Well, with my water stick, I bypass those 6 or 8 inches and I go directly to the root, water the root, the entire root, and water underneath the root so the roots get bigger, plants get bigger, produces more produce. I wrote 2 books, so they're both called the 20-foot tomato plant. One's called the 20-foot tomato plant, the other one's called the 20-foot tomato plant 2 the next season. And in these books, I teach you how to make everything that I use here in the garden. For people who want to buy a water stick, now I teach them how to make it in the book, and it's not that hard. I try to make it in the books. I try to make it as easy and fun as possible. You know, I even tell you some of the goofy things that we actually did that got me in trouble with my wife over some of the things that I did. In places like California, Arizona, Texas, places where they're having a lot of drought, my water sticks would be a big help because I use 75% less water than the average gardener because I'm watering at root level, because I'm saving all that water, I'm bypassing all that soil. It just makes sense to grow food as most efficiently as possible. It's basically what we're doing is almost hydroponics underground, because in hydroponics you water the roots at root level. We're watering the roots at root level. I can also fertilize them and give them the organic pest repellent at root level. We have rain barrels on the house and on the carport. And then we also keep some right here near the garden, so it's not so far for us to get the water from. I think rainwater is better because it doesn't have the chemicals in it that your tap water does, and it's also better for the organic fertilizers. The organic fertilizers get more nutrition out of rainwater than they would the tap water. The tap water will actually kill all the good microorganisms that we're trying to grow. So our actual growing space inside the garden, not counting the cement outside, is 12 foot by 4 foot. 4 foot wide, 12 foot long. And we have 2 of those. And I can grow more food in those 2 gardens than most people can in the garden 5 times its size. We eat a lot out of these gardens. In the spring, when we had the lettuce, the spinach, and the potatoes planted. That was all grown in a 4-foot by 4-foot section. We had spinach, we had 3 different types of lettuce, and then we had potatoes. We ended up eating big salads every day. We each had a big salad every day for dinner, and we had friends and neighbors come over. We'd take some over to them, and then when the warm weather started to get here and the plants were getting ready to bolt, you couldn't even tell that we had even picked anything out of there in 7 weeks. The garden was that full, and so I didn't want to waste any of it, so we picked out as much as we could eat in about a week. And then we had our friends, neighbors, people from the church, and when they were coming over, they were pulling it out by the multiple bagfuls, at least anywhere from 2 to 4 grocery bags stuffed with lettuce and spinach. And so it feeds a lot of people, and it's an easy way to garden. Tennessee is probably one of the best places to start a garden because you have a really long season. I mean, if you're lucky, you can start planting. Well, we do it earlier, but you can actually start planting in the end of March, and if you're really lucky, the season will go all the way until real close to the end of October. So that's a long gardening season. Everybody needs to know how to grow at least some of their own food. With today's food prices, you want to be able to grow your own food so you can cut down on your grocery bill, plus the fact that you know what's in the vegetables that you're growing. I know that everything in there is good quality. Most of it's all organic, and so I know what we're eating, and it tastes better.
In recent years, the art of moonshining has had a revival. Short Mountain Distillery is Tennessee's 6th distillery, making authentic small batch Tennessee moonshine, bourbon, and Tennessee whiskey, all from organic corn that is stone milled on the 300-acre Little Short Mountain farm nestled in Cannon County. WCTE's Desiree Duncan traveled to Short Mountain to see how this locally owned and family-funded distillery has strived to create jobs, help keep local farmers in business, and generate needed revenue that will stay in the county, and more importantly, to bring another unique Tennessee brand to America and to the world.
Moonshine is basically America's vodka. In Russia they have vodka, in Mexico they have tequila, and here in Tennessee we have moonshine.
Short Mountain Distillery is a special place to all of us, of course, because we're involved in it on a day-to-day basis. But what I try to tell our visitors when they come out is that we're not just about the booze here. That pays the bills, of course, but this is really more about history. This is about heritage. This is about providing an opportunity for families that have lived here for generations to be able to really talk about things that their ancestors did and what even they have done in the past, which is making the moonshine to make a living.
Well, if you look around you, you know there's not very many places you could grow a lot of crops and things. So corn was the basic crop that everybody grew, and when they get more corn than they could use, they couldn't store it all, so they could turn it into a liquid, and they could store the liquid, and they could sell it throughout the rest of the year. But moonshine actually came across when the settlers came here. If you stop and think, they had no alcohol, they had no pain reliever, they had no cough medicine. So just about every country family had a still. And it wasn't for Uncle Joe to drink out behind the barn to get drunk on. It was for medicinal purposes and other things that the whole family could use.
I have to tell people that I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart, we are making the best moonshine in the entire country. Cannon County has a history of making the best moonshine ever, and we are continuing that tradition, and we're not cutting any corners about it. So I'm standing behind my product, and I hope everyone wants to come up here and try it for themselves because it's a great product.
The area has always been known for making good quality moonshine. That has to do with a couple of different factors. I think one of the big things is that we have the natural resources here, which are very conducive to making good quality Tennessee moonshine. That being the first being the spring water that we have, another being the fact that we have what I like to refer to as marginal farmland, enough to grow a crop, not to get rich off of, but enough to grow enough of a crop to feed your stock and to be able to make this added value product that we're making here. It also has to do with a lot of the types of people that were coming here then. This was really rough country, and it took somebody who was pretty strong-willed, pretty hard-working and independent to be able to come here and make a living. And that's really what all these families around here that are known for the moonshining, they were just trying to make a living. They were trying to feed their families. This was not a get-rich-quick scheme by any, by any chance at all. It was really a lot of hard work, and it was something that they took pride in, that they did produce a good product. The other was that they needed places to hide and places to where they wouldn't be caught by the sheriffs or the revenuers. Well, you can look around where we are right now, and there's several places that you could find a hideout and never get caught.
The revenuer that tried to catch us for 25 years came up, and we had a nice visit, and he turned out not to be as bad a guy as I thought he was. So.
I've been organic farming all my life. People use the term organic now. The way I've always thought of it is that's just the natural way of farming. It's the old-timey way, really. Up until about 30 or 40 years ago, folks didn't have all these chemicals and pesticides that they could use. My grandfather taught me to farm the way that I'm farming now and called that other stuff. He said, that's taking a shortcut. He said, I want you to always do it right.
One of the things we try and do here is keep the resources that we're harvesting from the farm back into the farm. So we make mash, with the corn that we grow here, and we distill that and turn that into alcohol. And then we take that spent mash and we feed it back to the animals. And they, of course, give us manure, which we compost. We turn that into a compost tea. We spray that back on the corn, and we start the cycle all over again.
Farming and distilleries have always had a pretty close relationship. The farming that goes on here is mainly to grow the grains that we need in order to produce the moonshine. The green process is something that's really been important to us from the beginning here. One of the ways that we use that is we have about 50 head of cattle and about 80 head of goats. Those, of course, help us with our fertilization process. We can use a dried form of compost from the manure from the animals. We also have a special compost tea that we fix up and can spray on the fields. Once we have a crop in, we can go in and rejuvenate those fields. We use that to put living microbes back into the soil. Those microbes then go into your soil and eat what you don't want to be there and produce what you do want. That's going to be conducive to a good growing process, as well as helping us maintain the land and not use up all its resources without coming back. Of course, the cattle and the goats do their part here on the farm. They have their work to do. So they'll fertilize for us. We then grow our crop, we bring it in, we produce our product with it. Now, when we're done with this process, what we've got left over is a lot of spent grains, spent mash, even liquid beer that's pumped off of the batches once they're done with them. So what we do with that is we load it back up onto a trailer. We've got big tanks on it. We'll take it right back out to the field, and we have special steel troughs out there. We pour all that back out into those troughs, and the cows and the goats come a-running.
We get some great meat on this farm from our cattle, goats, sheep. I eat almost all my meat from animals that are raised on this farm, and it's just a great side product, besides having great moonshine.
From the very beginning, it's been important to us that the community understands what we're doing and that they support us and that we in turn support them. This is a unique opportunity for us because we can honestly say to Cannon Countyans who voted for us that without them, we wouldn't be here. And that's an unusual thing to be able to actually say and mean, but we do. And we have had continuous support from everyone in the county, from our neighbors to local officials, to law enforcement. Everyone has been there and been very supportive of us. And we just hope that we can make that worth their while and pay them back as the years unfold.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Live Green Tennessee, where we take you all across the state into the farms and businesses of those who are making the move to eating fresh, living sustainably, and helping us all be more organic in our thinking and the way we live our lives as Tennesseans. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Live Green Tennessee.
If you would like more information about Live Green Tennessee, please visit our website at livegreentv.org, where you can find everything from healthy recipes to past episodes and more.
Pick Tennessee helps you find local farms and farmers markets, plus offers tips for choosing, using, and storing the fresh foods you buy. The Pick Tennessee mobile app is available now on iTunes and Google Play.
Radon gas is a naturally occurring radioactive gas found in rock and soil and can seep into your home through basements or cellars. It's odorless, invisible, and without taste, and can damage lung tissue and cause the beginning of lung cancer, making it the second leading cause of lung cancer in the United States. It is important to ensure your home is safe with a free radon test kit. The Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation can help you learn more about this dangerous gas and make your home a safer place.
This program was made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.